Hello, I'm Jay and welcome to this, the first in a short series of videos I'll be making to help guitarists learn the key of C major inside out. By the time we finish, you will have mastered the key of C major melodically, harmonically, orally, theoretically, over the entire fretboard, and have a deeper understanding of music and of your instrument. One of the reasons guitarists are lesser musicians to other instrumentalists, and they are lesser musicians, is because we don't learn the scale, the key of C major well enough. Every other instrumentalist starts by learning the key of C major. They learn it inside out, and from it you get a firm grasp, a clear understanding of the basics of music, something that guitarists are so often lacking. What was the first scale you learnt? I'm guessing for many of you it was an E minor pentatonic scale, maybe even in 2 octaves. And if you do know a C major scale, can you really say that you've mastered the key of C major all over the fretboard? So the first step we're going to go over in this video is perhaps the biggest, most important one. We're going to learn to play the scale of C major all over the neck in every octave, and we're going to do it in one go. Believe it or not, we can learn any scale all over the fretboard in one go. And by doing so, we really learn the scale and get a deeper understanding of the fretboard. And you know what? It's easy. We can do it not by learning 5 or 7 different overlapping 2 octave patterns. No. We can do this by learning a 1 octave scale, like every other musician does. So let's do that now. If you see my Unlock the Fretboard in Minutes videos, you will see me demonstrate this concept in the key of A minor. If you have seen that video, I promise you that this is just the start of what we're going to learn in this series. First off, let's learn the all-important 1 octave major scale pattern. We will learn it in 7th position, starting on the C at the 8th fret on the bottom E string. So it is 2-4, 1-2-4, 1-3-4. Now let's start playing it with the C on the A string. At this point, we need to learn the most important point of all that you need to fully grasp in order to open up the fretboard. I cannot stress the importance of this E enough. Everything moves when you get to the B string. Everything moves up a fret. It's because of the tuning difference between the G and B compared to the tuning difference between the rest of the other strings. All you need to know is that it moves up 1 fret at this stage. So we now play our 1 octave pattern with the root note on the D string, which is at the 10th fret. We'll go 2-4, 1-2-4, but now we get to the B string, so we have to move up a fret for our 1-3-4. And now let's do it on the G string. We've got a C at the 5th fret, we do our 2-4. Now immediately we're at the B string, so we move up a fret and we do our 1-2-4, 1-3-4. Once you've moved up a fret on the B string, you just stay there and carry on what you were doing. Notice how the last note of each of these scale patterns is the first note of the next octave. So if we play a 1 octave pattern with the root note on the E string, where we started, we could replace our 4th finger with our 2nd finger to start the pattern again in the next octave, with the root note on the D string. And if we start with the root note on the A string, we could replace our 4th finger with our 2nd finger and play the next octave. But how about this? If you wanted to go into the next octave to make a smoother transition, when you get to the final 1-3-4, if you play the 1-3 as 1 slide 1, then that puts you on your 2nd finger to start the pattern again. See that? 2-4, 1-2-4, 1 slide, and then we're on the 2. Let's expand this a bit further. Let's learn the scale using the same pattern but on 1 string. So on the bottom E string, here we go, C at the 8th fret, 2-4, then we have to miss a fret and we do our 1-2-4, miss a fret, 1-3-4. Same on the A string, starting at the 3rd fret, 2-4, miss a fret, miss a fret, sorry, on the D string, on the G string, on the B string, and on the top E string, exactly the same fingering as the bottom E string. If you start at 8th fret, will be. Now we're much freer to move around the fretboard. We could start with our 2-4 here at the bottom E string perhaps, then do our 1-2-4, and then maybe move up on the same string, and we do our 1 slide 2, and we're here. 4 1 2 4, 1 slide 2 4 1 2 4 1 3 4. Or we could start on the A string, 2 4. Maybe go up straight away for our 1 2 4. Then slide into the next octave. Slide into the next octave. Carry on up the same string when we reach the top E string. And going back down, you don't have to go down the same way. 4 3 1, 4 2 1, 4 2 1, slide, 4 2 1. So there it is, one small octave scale pattern. Be aware of the B string shift, learn the pattern on one string, and remember the cheeky 1-to-1 slide at the end to get you into position for the next octave. So now we've learned the scale of C major all over the fretboard, but we've only really learnt it as a pattern. You must now learn the names of the notes and consider them as intervals. It is vital that you learn the names of the notes, so if you don't know what we're playing, we are playing C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C. I'm sure you knew that. Learn the names by saying the names to yourself as you wander around the fretboard. You must do this. You know, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G, A, B, C, D. You get the idea. Try and wander about in as many different ways as possible, thinking of the names of the notes as you go, and don't go too quickly. Take time for it to sink in. C, D. Finally, you want to learn the interval names of the notes. For those of you that don't know, notes of a scale also have names that describe their position in the scale, how far away they are from the root note. These are their interval names. They're quite simply numbered 1 to 7, but have different prefixes. I'm not going into much more detail about intervals in this video. There are hundreds on the net. For our purposes, at the moment, you just need to know the interval names of the notes from a major scale, and they are root, major second, major third, perfect fourth, perfect fifth, major sixth, major seventh, and then the octave, which is in fact the root note again as it starts again in the next octave. Now, having secured those interval names in your head, you should think of the interval names as you wander around the fretboard. Root, major second, major third, perfect fourth, etc. So now we have learnt the scale of C major all over the fretboard, but we've not only learnt it as a pattern, we've learnt it the names of the notes and the interval names. In the next video, we'll be completing our knowledge of the scale of C major by looking at the relative minor and filling in any gaps that the one octave pattern may have left on the fretboard. Thank you for watching. Please like me and subscribe. It makes me feel loved.